To the people who want to have a great skincare routine but are afraid or just don't know where to get started, I got you. I am your acne big sister, resident medical esthetician, and crazy cat lady, and I've been there. I know that we speak a lot on this channel about consumer confusion and how celebrities create these new lines and shove things down our throats, and why it's important to listen to research and know your products and turn and learn those ingredient labels. But it's taken 10 years to get here. And I think that that's really important to recognize. When I first started in aesthetic school in 2009, I was sleeping in my makeup. I was wearing a blemish clearing foundation and just adding more the next day. I was using essential oils. I thought that natural was better. And obviously there's a lot of growth along the way, but no one was really there for me to teach me how to take care of my skin properly. And even when I saw doctors and dermatologists, I saw 23 before I was able to figure out what was going on with my skin. And a lot of doctors and derms, as knowledgeable as they are, maybe they don't have all of the time to spend with us. And that can sometimes lead them to not having the time or the ability to speak us through 3, 7, 8 steps that we might have in our routine, not understanding how to make these things work for us, for our lifestyle habits, or what to look for when we do go to the store or when we are interested in purchasing something. And it's time for a little pop quiz. Everyone raise your hands if you are someone who watches a ton of skincare content, but doesn't always follow through with your own routine. It's human nature to get stuck in a rut or to stay in what is familiar. We really like to identify with our habits, but sometimes when trying to add new steps or reapply that sunscreen throughout the middle of the day, it can be really hard. And that's why I want this video to serve as a helping hand, as something that you can refer to on how do I actually know what products I need from the store? How do I avoid over-consuming? I mean, did you see Cassandra on Black Friday? I stocked up. But let me tell you, I am not going to be putting all these things on my face at one time. And including all of the cosmetic confusion from celebrities. I mean, I love how beautiful and talented so many actresses and singers and celebrities are. But does that mean that I'm going to trust them with my skin? Personally, no. But unfortunately, I don't think the general population realizes that just because someone is an authority in one area doesn't necessarily make them credible in everything else, including our personal hygiene. Not to mention the treatments and procedures they have access to, which yes, we will be speaking about in a future video if you are liked and subscribed. But if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you don't know what the next step is, or if you just don't know where to get started and you're kind of just like frozen in time, this is for you. And if you know someone who's going through that, be a great friend and send this to them. And if you're that friend who received this, hello! Welcome to the chaos soup that is this YouTube channel that might be chaotic, but it's also heavily moisturized and staying protected from the sun with sunscreen. When it comes to actually creating a skincare routine or purchasing things that work for you, let's start with those purchases. Don't just reach for anything a celebrity or influencer tells you is great. Just because my skin likes a certain product doesn't mean that somebody else's will. We all have different skin types and different lifestyles, right? The first thing you want to do is start off with a goal and start where you are. Do you have a routine at all? Do you have 1 or 2 steps, maybe a cleanser you use in the shower or something you put on your face at night? Start with where you are and figure out where you want to be. Do you want to work up to applying sunscreen twice a day? Do you want to use something that's going to help a little bit more with acne or blemishes or prevent wrinkles or fine lines? Knowing that goal is your first step, so that when we actually try to go and find products or things that are going to work for it, we know what we're trying to do and we can avoid the things that aren't going to help. Let's just say our goal is treating acne over the counter. Now, once we have that goal in mind, we have to look for products that are going to work for that. But how do we even get there? Because dude, all of the products, it feels overwhelming. This is where we have to find our sources. Let's find publications or studies or people that we actually trust to give us that information. Obviously, dermatologists are the experts in the skincare field. They have decades of experience to back up what they say. There are also research papers on different ingredients or people who can help you understand those, such as science educators, communicators, skinfluencers, medical estheticians, your favorite derm on TikTok or on Instagram, as well as people who kind of filter out the BS. Now, what's the difference between those credible sources and then just this DIY blog online? You can look for credentials. Credentials do help, but remember that you don't have to be an expert to be knowledgeable. So make sure that you find people who maybe do have your skin type or who speak to you in a way that is understandable or entertaining, and you can allow them to filter out the BS and help you really cut through the pseudoscience to know what to focus on. For example, someone like Gwyneth Paltrow is beautiful and talented and even has a skincare line, but she sprouts a lot of pseudoscience. She doesn't have any backing in skincare, and a lot of what she says on her blog, etc., gets debunked. So in that case, she may not be the most credible source. On the other hand, look at other brand founders online. He regularly educates people on his page. He knows about skincare, and he actually invites other experts onto his platforms to speak about that. So even though both of these people are brand owners and they both share information, there's a huge difference there. Another example could be skinfluencers. Let's say that there are two different skinfluencers online, neither of which have credentials, but there's one like James Welsh or Beauty Within, who really seems to know what they're talking about. They explain products and how they actually work. They cite sources, or they reference other people who have given them that knowledge. Whereas over here, let's say that we have a beauty influencer who gets all of their information from marketing. Let's say that this is someone who is obsessed with clean beauty, they use a lot of essential oils, or they're selling MLM skincare, and they're getting a lot of their information from random magazines, from uncredible sources online, or heck, even maybe Goop Gwyneth Paltrow's website. One of these people is going to be less credible than the others, even though neither of them are licensed estheticians or have worked in medical fields or have, an MD. Once you have those credible sources, you can start listening to them and trusting them when they speak about the things that matter to you, which is why having that goal in mind is important. Now, having a goal plus having those resources to listen to, that gets us to ingredients. What actually does the work in skincare? Active ingredients. And if we can figure out what active ingredients are going to help us with our goal, as based on science, as based on people who have tried it, who have similar skin to us, or as based on people that we can actually trust, we can say, okay, I could go using lemon scrubs and St. Ives apricot scrub on my face. Or a lot of people are talking about salicylic acid and benzoyl peroxide and sulfur. And hey, there are some doctors and derms and people online that I trust that agree. That helps you define what active ingredients are going to help with that condition. And yes, this is literally my story. Even when I went to aesthetics school, they had an MLM sales representative come in and sell us essential oils. I had $104 in my bank account, and I spent 96 something on essential oils that I thought would cure my acne and my depression and my grandfather's cancer. And ended up as a teenage runaway, got assaulted. Like, we all know how that story goes. But I was literally trusting these sources that weren't credible. And it wasn't until I started opening my mind, learning new things, working with doctors and dermatologists, that I realized, oh, there's actually studies and data that has been repeated by people over and over again, and retinoids, benzoyl peroxide, sulfur, and salicylic acid are the things that actually work. Okay, and there might be things like tea tree or turmeric or even topical chlorophyll that maybe can help. Great, but allowing us to focus on those things helps us to understand what will actually work for our beautiful faces. Now, once you've used your goal and those credible sources to get the actives you have in mind, let's talk about how they fit into your routine. Let's define what your routine looks like. Are you starting from scratch? Then all you need are the basics, a good cleanser and a good sunscreen, maybe a treatment step if you want. But if you already got a cleanser, you already have like a moisturizer, but you really want something that works, you can replace an existing product in your routine, or you can add a new one in. And if you are struggling to even get into the habit of a new routine, we actually have an entire video on how to start a good habit. And that video even talks about conditions like ADHD or disability that can prevent someone from going to the sink or just being able to focus on having a routine. So that video is right there, and that is also a great resource for you. So let's say that for our acne routine, we're going to swap out our existing cleanser for a benzoyl peroxide one, and we're going to add in a treatment serum, a salicylic acid serum to help with these blemishes. Then we're going to continue using our moisturizer and SPF. Great! But speaking of swapping out products, which brands are we going to use? There are so many brands, there are so many options, so many beautiful colors and marketing. What do we choose? This is where we take a step back, and instead of just grabbing at anything that comes to us through a Google ad, we're going to say, I have a budget in mind. Create a budget for yourself. Do you want to spend $15? Do you want to spend $50? Or do you want to spend $500? Which you don't have to, but more prerogative to you. Remember that expensive doesn't always mean better, but the brands that we buy are an extension of our identity. Why do some people drive certain cars or wear certain handbags or watches? It's identity. But nobody knows what brand of skincare you use. So that is really a choice for yourself, and you should be able to find something that you enjoy, that works for you, that makes you feel good about you using it because you like the brand, but that also works within your budget. So identify what a budget is for you. Identify the low price and the high price, and then let's try to search for something in between. Do you want luxury? Do you want affordability? For me, knowing that just because something is more expensive doesn't mean it's better, that's what I'm going to go for. But also for me, knowing that I've tried $5 skincare from Alibaba and the dollar store, which yes, we also have a video on testing fake products from Alibaba. Anyways, I also know that if something is way too good of a deal, then it probably is for a reason. And for me, I think that sweet spot is somewhere between $5 and $35. So now that I have my ingredients in mind, now that I know what step I'm swapping out, and now that I know my price range, I can start to look. Hey, there's a panoxyl cleanser that has benzoyl peroxide, my active ingredient. It's like $8.99, so it's within my price range, and I can swap a cleanser out. Perfect. Hey, I was going to add a salicylic acid treatment step. Check it out. There's one from the Inky list that's also $8.99. Or maybe there's like an advanced treatment, you know, like the neutralizing gel from Dr. Sam's. It looks luxurious. It also has azelaic acid, that other ingredient I like. It's a little bit more on my upper range, but you know what? I want to feel good about that. I'm going to purchase that one and put that in my treatment step. I already use a sunscreen, but maybe my current sunscreen is too greasy or I need something for winter. I don't want it to break me out. Perfect. I'm going to go get this K-Beauty one from Isntree that seems to work for other people who have my skin concern. Great! And we can start to swap that out and start to build a routine that works for us, that's not based off of a compulsion, but actually based on what we need, and putting it into a routine that works for us to reapply every day. Now, if you're still confused on what order products go into, there is a little flow chart that I have. It's cleanse, consistency, complete. This is how I explain it to aesthetic clients or patients. And it's basically, you want to cleanse first, so you want to remove any makeup or sunscreen. Then you want to go into consistency. If you have toners and serums and moisturizers and masks, what goes first? Do the lightest things first and then go heavier. So liquidy, thicker, thicker, thicker. There is an exception with oils, but you know those exceptions like oils or exfoliants we can talk about in the future. And then complete. If you're completing at night, are you adding a moisturizer or a night mask? And if you're completing during the day, it's probably sunscreen and makeup. But this cleanse, consistency, complete will allow us to kind of go through and actually understand how to make a routine work for us. And don't forget to take pictures. If you just look at yourself every single day in the mirror, it's really hard to see change. But if you go through and you actually look back at photos, you can kind of compare them and be like, wow, I'm really making progress. And having an accountability buddy really helps. On this channel before, we've done the 28-day skincare challenge. And that has been amazing because people from across the world get to buddy up and keep each other accountable on switching their products every single month and sticking to them, taking pictures to see how it goes. And specifically, let's take our acne case. We do have an Acne Warriors group on Facebook. It's by invitation only. It's very, very strict on who gets in because everyone has to answer all of the questions and accept the rules because it is a safe space to discuss how acne makes us feel and what products we're using. It's not medical advice, but it is a really beautiful, but again, safe community. And as someone who is maybe going through this, that would be a great place for that person to find an accountability buddy or to go to and say, hey guys, I'm trying to add these things to my routine. Has anyone else tried these? Did you see good or bad results? Because then we're actually asking people who have a similar skin type or a group that is similar to us. Then we can actually track our progress and see if it is or isn't working over time. So don't forget to take those pictures. And again, if it feels overwhelming, take it a step at a time. Look at you. Now you have a goal, you have a budget in mind, you know where to look, you even have an opportunity to join a community who can help you do it. I dare you to reach out to someone in the comments and be like, hey, who wants a partner? Leave your skin type, your skin concern, or what you're trying to achieve down below. And maybe you can find a skincare accountability partner. And if you have always watched videos but you've never commented on them, say hi for the first time. Let us know you're here. Drop a little butterfly or just say hello from the other side of the comment box and see who responds. I'm pretty confident that everyone who is subscribed is a skintellectual. People who watch these videos care about their skin, they care about understanding it, and they're fascinated by the biology of their beauty. And the members of this community are not only intelligent, but they really care about helping others. And if you know someone who is struggling or who has asked you for help because you are a skintellectual and you're just watching this to kind of spruce up some of your skincare knowledge and keep it fresh and hydrated, more power to you. But go ahead and share this with them in hopes that it might help. Always remember to be beYoutiful. Be sure to stay hydrated both orally and topically. Reapply that SPF, and I will see you in this next video. Love you guys. Bye.